What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Brian Watkins, and welcome to another edition of the Brian Watkins channel. My subject today is about what I miss most about Prince. The reason why I'm making this video is for those who can relate to what they miss about him personally. Let's get started. Shout outs to all my viewers and subscribers and ones that made donations. I appreciate everything that you all have done. Let's get started. I remember coming into a knowledge of Prince when I was 8 years old. We was living in Detroit, Michigan on a street called Cardone. And I was in the third grade. At the time, I didn't know who he was. I just remember hearing um, his first musical composition. The song was called Soft and Wet. And I liked the way it sounded. And the interesting part about it, I only remember hearing it when I would be getting ready to go to school. I don't recall hearing it in the evening time or a Friday or the weekends. Never heard it. So I only heard it a few times. I like the way it sounded. What increased, and that was in 1978. So the following year, he came out with the hit song. Actually, he had two hits off of the second album, which I ended up learning later. One was called Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad. Again, heard it here and there. Um, I didn't dislike it. I just heard it, I didn't kind of know it was him. Um, Now when he came out with I Want to Be Your Lover, they played that a lot. They played it especially on Friday nights and the weekend. And I always liked the long version because he would really uh, show his guitar skills more on the long version. So by this time, this is 1979. My oldest brother had purchased a nice mid-condition Monte Carlo, and at that time, 8 tracks, cassette players, uh, they weren't called boom boxes at that time. They was just huge radios, a receiver, large speakers. Anyways, he had went on 8 Mile and DeQuinder in Detroit, Michigan, and he had bought some real nice stereo equipment. So all of a sudden, I hear this song called "Sexy Dancer." Okay, at that point, once I heard the song, I knew it was Prince at that point. So I liked it. It was cool. It was bad, you know. Still hadn't heard the whole album. Still hadn't heard the first whole album. I didn't hear his first album until, oof, like I said, 8 years old. I didn't hear his first album until I was 17. Um, More about that in the other video I make about it in part two. Anyways, so at this point, um, let's go to 1980. We're still on the street Cardone in Detroit. So he comes out with Dirty Mind. By this time, I'm more aware of who he is. Um, Dirty Mind. My oldest brother had purchased the Dirty Mind album. It was on 8 track. Okay, at this point, I'm 10 years old. He comes out with Uptown. It was cool. I liked the bass line. It was cool. Um, but okay, this was like maybe a couple of months before my brother had purchased his entire album on 8 track. So they was just playing Uptown. Um, Once my brother purchased the 8 track, literally they played that 8 track album every day, all day for at least 3 months straight. And I wasn't tired of hearing Prince. They just played it a lot. Mind you, I had no idea that this was all one person. Because at that time, bands were extremely plentiful. That was the only thing that was on the music scenes were bands. So I automatically assumed that it was safe to believe that that was a band. And I didn't know much about the music industry as far as the studio, the engineering, your tracks and whatnot, 16 track, 24 tracks, 48 tracks. I didn't know anything about that. So I didn't come into a knowledge that that was one person until, wow, I would say, I guess 1982. Anyways, okay, so, oh, and then, this is the same year, 1980, then the scene with the host, Nat Morris, here to geek you up, Channel 62. On the weekends, they would show Prince videos at nighttime. So I end up seeing the Dirty Mind video. And so that's when I first actually got a chance to see him as far as how he looked and whatnot. I had on a trench coat, brief underwear with leg warmers, and a diverse band. The drummer, Bobby Z, which I ended up learning, didn't know he was at the time. Um, Bass player, Andre Simone. Keyboard player, Lisa Coleman. Lead guitar player, Des Dickerson. So crowd is all into this song, which I heard a lot for 3 months straight previously. So I said, okay, that was cool, all right. Then I finally got a chance to see the Uptown video. Same setting, but it was cool. So okay, so by this time we end up moving on a street called Coventry in Detroit, Michigan. So at this point, he comes out with Controversy album. My third oldest brother, this is like 1981 if I'm not mistaken. He um he purchased the Controversy album, um um Al Jarreau album Breaking Away, may he rest in peace, and the Jacksons live album, may Michael Jackson rest in peace. So at this point I'm more familiar with Prince. So I listened to the album Controversy. It was cool. I actually liked the whole album. So my brother and my sister and my cousin, they had ended up going to see him in concert. And my brother at that time was into photography. He actually took some pictures of him and developed, so I got a chance to see him. So, um, no. I gotta back up. All right. Right before we moved off Cardone, I had ended up going out to my father's house with his second wife in Inkster, Michigan. All right, so the group The Time came out, and I'm like, man, it kind of like Prince. I didn't know that that was him. They came out with Get It Up, cool. It was in the summertime. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the summer of 1980 or 1981. So, fast forwarding back to staying on Coventry, Controversy album. Don't recall seeing any videos of him off that album. I don't think so. However, I like the album. So by this time, oh, then he dropped. What time is it? 7/7/7/93/11. They played it. Mojo, one of the best Detroit DJs, that played a major role in getting Prince put on the map from Detroit. He played the whole album. Gigolos Get Lonely too. Um, Wild and Loose. So at that point, my brothers they they were living on Longwood in Detroit, off of John R. near 6 Mile. So they went to see him in concert. It was at that time Prince. Oh yeah, Vanity Six. Didn't know that that was all him doing the music. So it was Prince, the time, Vanity Six, and they were coming in to the scene to do performances and interviews and whatnot. So all this time, I have no idea that this one person is the composer, arranger, producer, writing everything. Had no idea. All I know is I like the music, and not to mention Vanity Six. May Vanity rest in peace. So by this time, um, it's like 1982. So then he dropped 1999. Still living on Coventry. 1999. Well, double album. So my future ex sister-in-law went and saw him in concert. And I remember writing the Vanity Six fan club, and she sent me a postcard. I was geek. So by this time, then Vanity Six. Let's see. Oh no, here we go. All right, so at this point, I'm like, okay, what is he gonna do next? Then, out of nowhere, he just vanished. I think he came out with one song, Irresistible Bitch. It kind of circulated. I'm in the seventh grade at this point. It kind of circulated that Prince was coming out with a movie. And I wasn't being negative or cynical about it. I was like, really? Then they had said that Prince was dying of AIDS and all this stuff. Like I said, you didn't hear nothing from him. He came out with Irresistible Bitch and Horny Toad, which, it was cool. So, didn't hear nothing. It's the winter of 1983, if I'm not mistaken. Then, the spring of 1983, bam, he drops When Doves Cry. I was dope. Then it's circulating that this is from the soundtrack of the movie, motion picture, Purple Rain. And the time came out with um, Ice Cream Castle, Jungle Love. Uh, so I'm like, okay. So I end up finishing junior high school, ready, to go to high school. And he, so I'm like, okay, I'm seeing, previews and, movie promotions and things of that nature of the movie, Purple Rain. And he dropped 17 days. That was dope. So I'm like, okay, uh, getting ready for the summertime. Summertime, they finally just played the whole Purple Rain soundtrack album. The Doves Cry, um, Purple Rain, Take Me With You, The Beautiful Ones. I don't recall hearing Darling Nikki prior to the release of the motion picture Purple Rain. Baby, I'm a star. I will die for you. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be pretty interesting. So the movie finally comes out. I saw it. It was cool. Then all of a sudden, he come out with, oh no. I got to back up again. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. All right, prior to that, it's about April or May 1993. I mean 83. My baby Sheila E. Glamorous Life. Dope. I'm like, okay. So at this point, I'm going to say with confidence that I am definitely a Prince fan. I just didn't know that it would go all the way to me talking about what I miss most about him right now. So, okay, that goes down. So by this time he's torn, Purple Rain had a chance to go. Guess what happened, y'all? Damn, tickets were sold out. So I didn't get a chance to go. I never saw Prince live in concert. I wish I really would have went, but either the tickets were sold out or I was working. Had the money, just was working, and I'm like, I'd see him another time. Turned out, never saw him live. Saw a lot of his videos of live performances, but I never saw him live before ever. Anyways, all right. So then he come out with, hmm, then he come out with Sheena Easton, My Sugar Walls. This is in the winter of after Purple Rain had been released. That was a jam. It was dope. Kind of figured it was him. At this point, I pretty much know Prince's signature style. Then let's see, who else did he come out with? Oh, well, he did that song for the Bangles, if I'm pronouncing their word, group name group correctly, Manic Monday. Then he came out with who else? Oh no, here we go. All right. Then he turns around and dropped Around the World in a Day. So they first, played it on the radio, and the first song they played was let's see, gotta remember, yeah, Paisley Park. Sad that they would find him deceased years later in that specific location, Paisley Park. A lot of people dogged the song. Um, at that point, I was a serious Prince fan. At that point, I was like, oh well, I wasn't disappointed when I heard it. Turns out, I'm at Persian High School. One of my classmates let me listen to Around the World a Day on cassette. And his Walkman, or I may have had one, I don't know. I just know I ended up listening to it. So I heard Raspberry Beret. I liked that right away. Now, years later, um, I ended up liking the album even more. Like America, I ended up buying the 12-inch version. That was dope. And then I ended up seeing him perform it live. He made a live video of it. He actually played the drums on that. So at this point, Prince pretty much has my attention. Don't get me wrong. I still, I still was like Michael Jackson and Rick James, the Parliaments, Funkadelic, any other hot artists or groups that was out. I still was watching what they were doing, but Prince just brought it. And I always liked it. He always went the extra mile, um, all the way up until he passed away. He was the only artist that always kept me guessing. I never, um, I never encountered an artist like that ever. So at this point, okay, Round the World Today is out. Critics dogging it, and oh, when I bought the 12-inch version of Raspberry Beret and the 12-inch version of America, let's see on the B side there was a song "Girl" on there. That was cool. And let's see, yeah. And on the B side of Raspberry Beret was "She's Always in My Hair." Oh, and then he dropped the jam right in the midst of that called "Hello." It was his response to him refusing to sing on the "We Are the World" song to donate money to people that was in situations that was unfortunate. So he made a song called "Hello." That was dope. The bass, 12-inch version of that, dope. Killed it. So at this point, I'm like, okay, it's obvious this person is somebody to pay attention to. He had my attention. I was what 16 at that point, and so he comes out. Well, at this, see, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they had already, was forming their own stuff. You can hear the similarities. Alexander O'Neal, Sherelle, who else? Oh, Jesse Johnson. The time it broke up. So Jesse Johnson that came out with his own solo album. Dope. I want to be your man. Can you help me? It's like, okay, he don't sound like Prince, but you can definitely tell he's influenced by him. Sound very good. Then all the in between groups that was coming out sounding like Prince. Ready for the World. Um, a lot of fly by nights, no disrespect to them at all. So again, it's like, okay, so he done with Around the World Today. Now we on Under the Cherry Moon. So at this point, ain't living on Coventry no more. Living on a street called Danbury in Detroit off of John Iron 8 Mile. At this time, I'm working at Hardee's.